The story starts with a super smart guy named Tom, who back in his school days solved a huge problem like the Mexican oil spill and shocked all the big oil companies around the world. Before he even finished college, the 8 biggest oil companies offered him jobs with annual salaries worth lakhs. But Tom turned down all those great offers and accepted a deal from a guy named Walter Moreland in Spain. Using his sharp mind, Tom had to crack open a vault that the whole world, it was considered the safest safe, and actually, there was something inside it that Walter wanted. But for the past 80 years, no one had been able to crack this unique safe. After that, Walter introduced Tom to his team. Walter said that a few months ago, he found a ship that had sunk years ago. They found a box on it that held clues to a huge treasure. But soon, the Spanish government got wind of it and seized everything Walter had found, placing it in a Spanish bank. So it was locked up in the vault. Anyway, Tom Walter's daughter, Lauren, was there. She was a pro at changing anyone for her mission. Besides her, their team had Klaus, an amazing hacker, and James Walter's right-hand man, who used to be a soldier and was now an incredible fighter. Simon took care of all the supplies the team needed. As long as he got paid, he could get Walter anything in the world. Today was Tom's first day, and the team was struggling to hack into the bank system. They needed to enter a code, but they had no clue what it was. They had no idea what the code could be. Then Tom came up with the idea that they should pose as an automated voicemail from some bank client to get the code. Turns out, Tom's plan worked, and they got the code easily. Everyone praised Tom, and he reached his new home. The next day, Tom started studying the map of the Bank of Spain with the rest of the team. According to Walter, this building is the most secure in the world because it has thousands of sensors and cameras installed. The guards didn't slack off on security either. Their biggest challenge was the Spanish Army headquarters right across from the bank. Whenever the bank's security alarms went off, 500 soldiers from the headquarters would storm into the bank all at once. On top of that, the bank's head of security used to be a commander in Spain's counter-terrorism force. So, Walter's team was up against a military force that knew exactly how to protect the bank no matter what. Plus, Walter's team had no info on the layout inside the vault, so they had to scan it to get that intel. They had to get 2 keys and the security chief's fingerprints to open the safe. To get these, the team decided to break into the bank. Tom and Simon posed as janitors. Lauren was there pretending to check the valuable paintings for insurance purposes. The 2 keys were hidden behind those paintings in the safe. When the security chief was taking Lauren to the room, she slipped her coffee cup into his hand, and that's how they got his fingerprints. After that, they went to the first paintings room. When Klaus arrived, he hacked into the bank's cameras. Then he recorded Lauren scanning the painting and played the footage back at 1/10 speed. While this was happening, Lauren opened the safe and copied the shape of the key inside. But right then, the bank director suddenly showed up. The camera was about to turn back on in just 20 seconds, and Lauren was supposed to be standing exactly there at that time. Since the director got in the way, Lauren quickly came up with a plan. She left him behind to take her picture, and at the last moment, the director stepped out of the frame. Now Lauren, while someone was busy looking for the second key, Tom had to disguise himself as a cleaner and scan the safe. According to his info, the real safe was right below the meeting room. Tom quickly hid under the table and started scanning with his device. But just then, some people came in for a meeting. Tom was stuck under the table, and suddenly his scanner broke down. After fiddling with it for a bit, Tom got it working again and finished the scan. But at that exact moment, an alarm went off, and the security chief locked down the whole bank. Just then, from the front, the soldiers headed to the bank, and just as Lauren was making a duplicate of the second key, the bank director showed up and took her away. In the rush, she forgot to put the original key back. Finally, the team decided that Lauren would give the key to Tom, and Tom would put it back in the safe. Tom took the key, went up to the 3rd floor, put the key in, and locked the safe. Just then, he suddenly realized a guard was coming into the room. Thinking quickly, Tom purposely got caught and pretended that because of his earphones, he didn't hear the security alarm. The guard believed him and let him go, and in the end, their mission was accomplished. After that, Tom took out the scan from the machine and noticed that there was a spot on the safe's map that wasn't showing up properly. That's when he realized it was filled with water. Actually, the safe was built on a scale, and as soon as the safe opened, its weight would change, causing it to automatically shut and fill up with water. Now they understood that to get inside the safe, they had to keep its weight balanced. So Tom worked day and night, trying to figure out a way to keep the weight steady. Meanwhile, on the other side, Simon and James were digging under the bank when it seemed like Tom was actually telling the truth. The safe was indeed built on a huge scale, like a giant balance scale, but its weight was perfectly balanced at 0. On top of that, there was another big problem. The walls of that underground room were made of titanium steel, so strong that drilling through them would take 15 days. Walter's team had very little time to complete their mission, and everyone thought it was impossible to steal the box and get out in that short time. So in the end, they gave up. Lee got frustrated and went up to the roof, where he saw crowds of football fans on the streets. Then he noticed the bank's camera and realized that all the World Cup Finals cameras would be focused on the crowd. That's when the idea clicked in his head. He shared the idea with his team, then sprayed liquid nitrogen on the scale after removing the glass, and put the glass back on. This time, the weight didn't change because the scale had frozen. Tom said they could freeze the scale under the vault just like that. They decided to go ahead with their plan on the day of the Spain versus Netherlands football match. They only had 105 minutes to complete the mission. First, they took a zip line to get onto the bank's roof, opened a glass window, and slipped inside. Then they crawled through a 100-meter-long pipe to reach the room outside the vault. From there, they used a ladder to move forward and finally reached the vault door. That's when Claus showed off his hacking skills, while the team used 2 keys they had made along with a fingerprint. With help, they managed to open the safe. Meanwhile, Simon started spraying liquid nitrogen on the underground scale to freeze it. Soon, because of this reaction, the ground under the safe began to freeze too. Inside, the team was busy searching for that same box. But on the other side, the bank's security team found out about the open window on the roof and started rushing towards the safe. Over here, the box ended up in Loren's hands, but what happened next blew everyone's minds. It turned out James was an undercover agent. Greed got the better of him, so he betrayed his own team. He decided to take over the box himself. Now Loren had no choice but to give the box to James. But before they could get out of there, the effect of the liquid nitrogen on the scale below wore off, activating the vault security system. Now Tom, Loren, and James were trapped inside the vault, and water started rising fast. Since James was a former soldier, he knew how to swim, so he grabbed the box and made a break for it. Meanwhile, the security chief declared an emergency, and his men came armed. They were running towards the safe, but by then it was so full of water that Tom and Loren's lives were in danger. They could have drowned at any moment. With no other options left, Tom suddenly had a bright idea. He told Simon to put more weight on the scale to make the whole machinery think the safe was completely filled with water. Simon quickly placed all the nitrogen tanks on the scale, but it still wasn't enough. Finally, he even put his radio on it. The added weight was enough to tip the scale. Suddenly, the system detected the safe's water level and started releasing the water outside. It seemed like Fowles was about to catch the thieves red-handed inside the safe, but as soon as they opened the door, they were stunned. There was no one inside. Actually, Tom and Loren had escaped through the drain pipes and reached the upper floors of the bank. Meanwhile, Fowles and the guards were left empty-handed, chasing after them. Suddenly, Loren remembered that the director always kept the window open in the room where she had gone to scan the painting. Without wasting any time, they both jumped out of the window, landing right into a crowd of thousands of fans. They took off their jackets and disappeared into the crowd. G got pretty close while chasing them, and they were about to get caught. Finally, they were ready to surrender to the police. But just then, Spain won the match, and all the fans went crazy with joy. In such a huge crowd, the soldier Tom and Loren couldn't keep up with them, and in the end, both of them escaped. A few days later, James gave the stolen box to his boss. When they found the treasure's location inside, it turned out to be the Eiffel Tower. That's when they realized it wasn't a security location after all, and Walter's team had. In the end, it turns out Tom and Loren had switched the real box with a fake one, which is why James ended up stealing the fake box. Meanwhile, Walter's team was having fun at a resort when they found the real treasure's location inside the box. That's when they realized the treasure was hidden in the Bank of England. After that, their team got ready for a brand new mission. So, what did you think of the story? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next video.